Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Khoj Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day, where we continue with our recitation from compositions of Bhagat Namdev Ji, and the recitation one verse at a time. दस बैरागन मोह बस किन्ही, पंचहों का मिटनाओ, 70 दोए परे अमृत सर, बिख को मारे कढ़ाओ. So in this sabad, Namdev Ji is describing a radical inner takeover, alchemy. What he's saying is, Das Bairagan Moh Bas Kinhi, Das Bairagan, the 10 renunciates, I have brought under control. You could also read this as saying that they have been controlling me and now I control them. Bas Kinhi, Panchaho ka mitanao, and I have erased even the names of the 5 thieves: lust, anger, greed, attachment, pride. The passions are named the 5 thieves. 70 doe pare amrit sar, I have filled the 72,000 reservoirs with nectar. Bikh ko maar kadhao, I've expelled the poison. So the question is, what are the 10 renunciates? We know the 5 thieves. He's using symbolic numerology, essentially, not literal asceticism. The 10 renunciates in the yogic terminology refers to the 10 sensory channels, the 5 senses and the 5 organs of action, Gyan Indriya and Karam Indriya. These are the outward pulling tendencies of awareness. This is what goes out. And the 72 reservoirs, in the yogic terminology, they point to the 72 subtle channels or energetic pathways. This is a yogic metaphor. So he's not claiming conquest of the body, but describing inner regulation, transforming poison, the poison of the ego. And what is the poison of the ego? It is these reactive impulses, Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moh, Ahankar, into nectar, which means clarity, vitality. So, in this verse, he's mapping out the psychology of disciplining one's attention. In the Rahau, he says, Pache bahurna avan pavo, amrit bhani ghatte uchrao, atam ko samajhao rao. So, Pache bahur na avan pavo. In simple English, it means I do not come back again. Amrit bhani ghatte uchro. From within, the nectar springs. Atam ko samajhamo. Myself instructs me. This is the point of no return, is what he's saying. I shall not have to come back to this world of suffering. Does he mean that literally? Or does he mean it metaphorically? Not falling back is not literal, but what he's saying is that now, having disciplined my attention, having disciplined my passions, I do not fall back into the old psychological loops, reactive impulses. When that stops, the nectar speech from within, the inner dialogue that is aligned with the truth, begins to emerge naturally. So you see the progression. Then he goes on to say, बज्जर कुठार मोए है छीना, करी मिन्नत लग पावों, संतन के हम उल्टे सेवक, भगतन ते डर पावों. बज्जर कुठार मोहे है छीना. The thunderbolt axe has been snatched from me, and I cling at the feet of the Guru in supplication. So what he's saying is, what is this axe that has been taken away from me? It is the axe of worldly attachment. That has been taken from me. Who has helped me take it away? The Guru. Santan ke hum ulte sevak. When I serve the Guru, in other words, when I put into practice or internalize the teachings of the Guru. And so he refers to it as Bajjar Kutar, axe, thunderbolt. This refers to aggressive ego and defensive power. This is the weaponized ego self. So to have it snatched away is to lose the compulsion to dominate, which is what the ego does. So becoming Santan ke hum ulte sevak, inverted servant, means reversing the hierarchy within. Humility now is at the top, self-assertion is at the bottom. Awe, wonderment, and reverence is at the top, not fear of authority. This is the transformation that is happening through regulating one's attention. एह संसार ते तब ही छूटों, जो माया नह लपटाओं, माया नाम गर्भ जोन का, तह तज दर्शन पाऊं. Very straightforward. I am released from the world, sansar te tab hi chhuton, when I do not cling to the illusion of Maya. Maya naha laptamo. What is the illusion? Seeing permanence in fleeting things. Maya essentially means womb existence. Maya nama garb jonka. And abandoning it, vision is obtained, clarity. Taj darsana pamo. So the grip of the world is what one has to be released from. And you do that by no longer clinging to passing things. Maya is just another name for the cycle of birth and death, this repeated pattern. So Maya, not to be taken literally as the material world, but misidentification with appearances. There is appearance and there is reality. The Guru will transform your vision where you don't misidentify what you see. So the womb of existence are these cycles of compulsive becoming, repetitive patterns of craving and aversion over and over and over again. So liberation is essentially perceptual, a shift in perception, seeing through your own attachment. And in conclusion, इत कर भगत कर है जो जन, तिन भाव सगल चुकाइया, कहत नाम देओ बाहर क्या परम हो, एह संयम हर पाइया. So those who practice devotion in this way, इत कर भगत कर है जो जन, those who practice devotion in this way, through turning their attention, inverting it, all fear vanishes. Pao sagal chuka. And Namdev's signature, Bahar kya parmo. Why wander outside? in confusion, because param means to wander and to be in confusion both. Eh sanjam har paiye. Through this discipline of sustaining presence is realization possible. Why do you wander searching outside? It is through this inner discipline that the Lord or the Self is found. So essentially, the closing instruction is stop seeking externally. One shouldn't be afraid of the word discipline. It simply means consistency, regulating the senses, transforming impulses, cultivating humility. So, essentially, the 10 senses, right? The 10 sensory organs, they are our inputs. What's going on is that the eyes, the ears, the skin, our senses are constantly hijacked by sensory overload, notifications, distractions. So if you want to, and that is what is causing all this anxiety. So Namdev Ji says, it's not about running away, it's about reclaiming your attention. So what does that mean? You have to control your inputs, the 5 thieves. These are dopamine-driven impulses of greed and anger. They lose their power if you control the input and not take every input that comes into your senses. And the 72 channels, yogic metaphor, this is essentially your nervous system. By filling it with Amrit, meaning positive, divine frequency, what Namdev Ji is saying is nothing short, actually, of rewiring the brain. The brain is plastic. It can be rewired. Instead of being triggered by poisonous stress and trauma, choose consciously. Circulate yourself to a higher state of awareness. And this is essentially the self-correction that he's talking about when he says, I bring understanding to my own self. The soul gives me that understanding. This is metacognition. He isn't waiting, he says, for a lecture from someone else, and neither should you. Use your own internal dialogue to guide your own consciousness. So, Namdev Ji reminds us in the end that you cannot travel your way to peace. This is really a critique of the wellness industry today, where you travel, spiritual tourism, traveling to places, looking for solutions, meditational retreats. All this is nonsense, Namdev says. Travel inward. Travel inward. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.